What is your takeaway from this discussion, and how can we move it on over the next 2 days?
Yeah, thanks very much, Chris. I actually was quite happy with the debate we had here. It was very frank and diverse opinions. It reminded me in a way, that is probably the frustrating part of it, that the discourse of what kind of agriculture that works for people and the planet is not really new. What was really new today was the factor of the climate urgency, which is coming in now, and we are really under pressure. Also, as the European Commission showed, we are under pressure to deliver on the emission cuts we promised in Paris and elsewhere. And when we left Paris, we left Paris with some optimism, because we were happy that there was an agreement, but we also really saw that there are no safeguards. Nobody's telling us how we exactly get there, and that is a risk factor. So we have to make choices of how we get there. And why I'm so happy to have everybody here from all over the world is because there are many people who bring the evidence what really works on the ground, what brings really a difference, what works low carbon, what works for the people, what lets people flourish and let's have families and income. And when I was reading the different studies of some of you wrote for us, for the case studies you're also going to discuss today a bit and going to discuss tomorrow, we can see something which links very interestingly with the discussion of tonight. When Herrick was saying, yeah, you know, we from the Commission, we cannot really do anything what is not coming from people's pressure. Yes, in the studies we can really see that governments are not moving without people's pressure. At the same time, we learned also from some of the discussants that that is not, of course, enough. We expect also from governments to respect, for example, human rights agreements, the right to food, international agreed policies and frameworks. So we expect, as Catholic development agencies, as CIDSE, for example, we expect from governments to put the right rules and frameworks in place. And then the industry comes in. The industry is, of course, not in a way, the change maker to develop or imagine the new economic or whatever model we need to have in place. But this comes out of dialogue, of discussions, of conversations like tonight. But then we need, of course, the rules. And the rules need to serve the low carbon path and need to serve the people. And then industry can see, okay, where's my business case here? Where can I make also profit in these frameworks, in this environment? But we shall not take kind of the industry we have today as a starting point to imagine the future. Look at the energy sector. In my home country, in Germany, one of the big energy companies after the other is collapsing, makes major losses, lays off tens of thousands of people. And all the communes and regional governments have their shares in these companies and make major losses and actually create deficits now in public budgets. This sector was really trying to protect their fossil fuel business case. And it was people's pressure, it were the international agreements negotiated on climate change that now shift the debate. And we need this shift of debate, of course, also on agriculture. And linking a little bit, I mean, many of us here work for Catholic organizations. I mean, when we link the recent encyclical of Pope Francis, Laudato Si, which tries to embrace in a way and give us some guidance on the future we need to imagine, we understand, that all the challenges we are facing are interlinked, interconnected. And interestingly, climate change is helping us a lot to understand these interlinkages, because we have now kind of something that shows us that the system is not working for people and the planet. And Pope Francis is saying something else. He says, like, you cannot distinguish between the environmental discussion, the ecological discussion, and the social discussion. So when we talk about the consumers, when we talk about my consumption, of course I do every day a degree of injustice to the world, to the people, because I benefit from food that, thanks to the fertilizer industry and the hybrid seeds, etc., is produced to reach the global markets, to reach my local supermarket. So thank you for the ability to consume certain food, but it's wrong. It's not just, it's not fair. And this is a major challenge for our societies. to embrace also a kind of living standard, a way of living that serves on well-being, but at the same time is fair and just on a global scale. That's kind of what I love working for a Catholic organization. Is kind of, we have this radically global vision, all people, same dignity, same rights, and this is so powerful when you take that serious. It actually you already know that you need to change tomorrow fundamentally, but we all know it's so hard to do that, and that counts for business as for me individually in my life. During this workshop, I really hope that we get really confidence and strength on the evidence about the agroecological approach that many of us believe is a true alternative and a response to climate change, and that works for people as well as for the planet. I hope that we get strengthened in building this movement for change, this people's pressure, that the Commission is listening, hears us, and also that the business sector takes us serious. Some of the studies you presented talk about, they say we need to scale up agroecology, that we get listened, that we get taken serious, that in the societies, when I today ask somebody about how to feed the world, nobody talks about organic farming or agriculture or agroecology. People think about, we need to scale up production and to get the food to the people. That would be the normal response. So in a few years' time, I would like to see a different response in our societies from politicians as well as from people. So we're going to work together 2 days more. We're going to work hard that the Commission, the industry, but also in our societies, we get listened to, that we get taken serious, and that we understand, yes, and that's also what Pope Francis is saying, it's also a power struggle. It's not simply a technical question or a scientific question. At the end of the day, it's of course also to build the power that underpins solutions that work for communities, that work for people, that work for the poor, as well as for the consumers in the global south and the north. It's a major challenge, but we have the urgency factor. So let's not do the mistake to go into false solutions by rushing, but let's also not to wait to go for bold changes, radical changes. Actually, we have no other choice. We are talking actually about radical changes. As Naomi Klein is saying, this changes everything. Kind of climate change is changing everything in our lives, and we need this radical shift, and we need to be courageous. Otherwise, this human kind has no future on this planet, and that would be a very sad result of all that. Thank you very much, and thanks to the panelists for having joined us tonight.